Hello Pokemon fans, Ashenmore here with my last battle of the regular season for the UBL D-League. This week I'm going to be playing against the Flying Bird and the New South Wailmers. My record is 4-4, his record is 4-4. Whoever wins this is going to playoffs, and I want my rematch against Skyrander and Vepsis, so I'm going to be pulling out all of the stops this week. Of course, the very last team that we're playing against is the Tapu Koko team, and so that is going to make things a little bit difficult. He's also got some great defensive options, such as Unaware Clefable, but I have a good plan to get around them. Thus far this season, I have only played Salamence one time, and I've only clicked one move on it, and I never even needed to. So, I'm going to be having Salamence play the leading role in this battle, regardless. After a boost from Dragon Dance, he's going to outspeed anything on the opposing team besides a Scarf Noivern or a Scarf Tapu Koko. Earthquake has incredibly good neutral or super effective coverage against his entire team, minus Mega Abomasnow and Noivern. Mega Abomasnow will die to Fire Fang, that's really why that's there, because he has two grass types that are quad weak to fire. And in the very last slot, I'm going to be running Iron Tail, and I'm going to be running Steelium Z. This is to brute force my way through Unaware Clefable. If he's max HP, max defense invested, Unaware, this will do a minimum of 80% damage. So with just a little bit of prior chip, this Salamence can potentially sweep this entire game, unless he brings the Machamp, but I really don't think he's going to be bringing Machamp. Now, the biggest threat overall to this kind of immense build is going to be Mega Ice Shard or Mega Abomasnow. Now, he may not opt to bring it because I think Ferrothorn is a much better bring because I have the Mega Kangaskhan, but there is a world in which I could see him bringing both of the quad weak grass types because I don't actually have a fire type of my own to kind of check them. Because of this, for the rest of my supporting cast, I've opted to go for quite a few fire coverage moves. Fire Punch on Jirachi, Hidden Power Fire on Tapu Fini, and Fire Punch on Zeraora. The very interesting thing about Fini is, even if I'm running absolute max defense to deal with Darmanitan, which is exactly what I'm doing, Hidden Power Fire is still a guaranteed OHKO against Ferrothorn or Abomasnow, unless the Ferrothorn's wearing an Assault Vest for some reason. And a combination of Moonblast and Hidden Power Fire will kill any offensive variant of Mega Abomasnow, which he would have to be in order for Ice Shard to be a guaranteed kill against Salamence. Fini also serves as a decent check to Manaphy if it's not carrying Energy Ball, which I don't see why he wouldn't, to the Machamp, which I don't think he's going to bring, and to the Crocodile, which I do think he will bring in order to check Zeraora. So we have Salamence as a primary win con, Tapu Fini as a defensive pivot, and a lot of coverage moves to deal with the two grass types on his team. The next thing I'm thinking about is a breaker, something that can pressure the Clefable even harder than Steelium Z without having to rely on that Z move. A max HP, max attack Adamant Kangaskhan is going to be able to 2-HKO Clefable with return, but it also serves a secondary purpose with the move Fake Out. And this is to be able to counter his very effective U-turn core. If he opts to run Scarf Darmanitan, or maybe even Scarf Noivern, or just regular Noivern, Scarf Koko, or regular Koko, Manaphy, they're going to be able to come in, they're going to be able to U-turn a whole bunch. Fake Out is going to at least help chip them a little bit if he doesn't predict the switch and go into Ferrothorn. For the exact same reason, I'll be running Fake Out on Zeraora. Really, Mega Kangaskhan's main job here is to pressure that Clefable, and then to get a big chunk out of either the Manaphy or the Crocodile. Any other value he happens to get is just a bonus. I did not opt to run Fire Punch on the Mega Kangaskhan. I wanted the Drain Punch instead. As long as I'm not at -1 attack, I should take relatively neutral damage from the Ferrothorn if he's not fully defensive invested, or if he's not wearing Rocky Helmet. This is also one of my main checks to the Quillfish with Earthquake, but Zeraora can kind of cover that role as well, so we'll talk about him right now. I'm going to be running Assault Vest Zeraora with a little bit of bulk. This Assault Vest build is so I can 1v1 the Tapu Koko, the Noivern, and the Manaphy, no matter what their builds happen to be. The only move I haven't mentioned on Zeraora is the knockoff that I've been running pretty much all season. That'll help me get the item off of Ferrothorn or Crocodile on the switch-in. But Zeraora is not the only Assault Vest mod I'm going to be running this week. I'm also going to be running Assault Vest Mudsdale for much the same reason. This guarantees that I can take a Gracium Z from Tapu Koko, and it also guarantees that I can take any hit from Manaphy and be able to do massive damage or kill either one of them. An added bonus of this particular kind of Mudsdale set is that Heavy Slam guarantees 60% damage on Clefable, so this is a secondary way for me to pressure that Clefable. I can't tell you how afraid I am of Clefable. That's probably the biggest way I could lose the game, besides messing up against Darmanitan. Speaking of Darmanitan, this set also can come in and revenge kill Darmanitan. There's no move that Darmanitan can possibly run, or item that he can run, that's going to allow him to OHKO this Mudsdale. In the very, very last slot, I'm going to be running a backup win condition in Scarf Jirachi. If I can get the right things out of the way, it can sweep in the late game with either Iron Head or Zen Headbutt, or if I need the extra chip damage on Ferrothorn, I can go for Fire Punch. This Jirachi also fills a secondary role. If one of my Assault Vestors gets down very, very low and it looks like they could sweep the game better than Jirachi, I can come in, use a Healing Wish, heal something else back up. The major conditions that have to be met in order for us to win this game: we've got to break Clefable, so get it down to the point where it cannot switch in and go for Wishes, break down that Ferrothorn, not lose critical mons to Scarf Darmanitan or to a Scarf Noivern, and we've got to keep hazards off of the field. I do have Defog on Finny this week, but a hazard-oriented Quillfish, if it can get some stacks up, could potentially ruin this game for me. One last thing I forgot to mention: in order to sweep specifically with Salamence, I also have to remove Scarf Tapu Koko, Scarf Noivern, and the Mega Abomasnow in order to sweep with that. At any rate, I'm going full throttle. I'm hoping this Salamence build can do the job, so we're going to get in the game and see how things go. The first thing I noticed looking at his team is there's no Z Rufflet, so thank goodness we don't have to deal with that. But there's also no Darmanitan and there's no Noivern, so this game is already a lot easier than I thought going in. He does have both of the Quad Fire Weak Grass types. I feel like there is no reason here not to go ahead and lead with the Zeraora. The worst thing he could lead with is Crocodile, in which case I could go for the knockoff expecting him to Stealth Rock, or I could just switch out. He actually opts to lead with Manaphy. I go ahead and go for a knockoff expecting to switch into Crook, and I actually get a Wakan Berry off of this thing. Now he's going to surf and he's going to see that, yes, I am a Sol Vest and I will take this hit very, very well. There is no way he can stay in here. Absolutely no way. I assume he's going to switch into something to take Plasma Fist, either the Ferrothorn or the Crocodile, and we do see the Crocodile come in. However, I'm not going to click Plasma Fist. I'm going to click second knockoff, because this switch was very, very easy to predict. We are going to get Crocodile's item right now, which happens to be a Choice Scarf. So we are going to eliminate something that looks like he's set up specifically to counter Zeraora. The thing is, he's not an offensively invested variant. He's defensively invested based on the amount of damage that I did with knockoff, even through Intimidate. So at this point, there's no reason to stay in, expecting him to go for an Earthquake. I go ahead and switch into Finny. It's not necessary to keep it at super high HP this game, because the main thing that's here to counter Darmanitan is not here. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that the Crocodile is going to switch out into either Ferrothorn or the Mega Ice Shard. Either way, I'm going for the Hidden Power Fire. He actually opts to stay in and go for Stealth Rocks, which I guess he was going for to try to fake me out and make me think he was more defensive when he's actually Scarf, which seems like a fair plan. At this point, I know Ferrothorn or the Abomasnow is coming in. However, I go ahead and opt for Moonblast in case it was Tapu Koko. The only bad thing Moonblast would have been for is the Ferrothorn, but the Abomasnow comes in, and we're going to take a massive chunk of this thing's HP. Now, remember what I talked about in the team builder. Hidden Power Fire plus Moonblast equals dead offensive Mega Abomasnow. And I've already showed him the Hidden Power Fire, so should he really stay in here? He does actually stay in here. And we are going to eat this Mega Abomasnow right off the bat. So the only thing stopping Salamence from sweeping is a little bit of HP on Ferrothorn and potentially a Scarf Tapu Koko. And to a lesser extent Clefable, if he is the build of Clefable that I'm the most afraid of with max HP, max defense. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and I'm switching out into the Mega Kangaskhan, thinking that this thing is either going to go for a Wish, or Calm Mind, or a Cosmic Power. He actually does go for a Wish. I can pressure this thing out with Return fairly easily. One interesting thing to note here, though, is that the Hail confirms he is not unaware. He is actually Magic Guard because he took no damage at the end of the turn. So now a +1 Salamence guaranteed kills this thing, no matter what. I know that he's going to switch into Ferrothorn here. There is no question about that. So, I already know in my heart what item he has, but I want to scout what his EV spread is. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Earthquake. If he had switched into anything else, it would have taken at least half damage anyway, now that the Mega Abomasnow is gone. We do see, based on this amount of damage, that he is max HP, max defense. That basically confirms in my mind that he's wearing a Rocky helmet. He's going to take a little bit of chip from the hail, but now he's going to eat that wish, and he's going to be back at full HP. I don't expect the Ferrothorn is going to stay in. I think he's going to scout for Fire Punch, so I'm guessing he's going to switch into probably the Crocodile or the Clefable, depending. The Crocodile does come in. I'm going for Drain Punch, though. Even if Ferrothorn had stayed, I was guaranteed around about 25% damage, which is all I need on it to kill at +0 with Fire Fang on Salamence, so I'm not too concerned. All I need is that little bit of chip damage on Ferrothorn at this point. We're going to take a massive chunk out of this Crocodile's HP, which is fantastic. Absolutely the greatest. The only problem here is that at -1, Kangaskhan isn't doing any work. It's going to be setup fodder for Cosmic Mind Clefable or even a Calm Mind Clefable. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to go ahead and preemptively switch into Mudsdale to counteract the Clefable, and the Clefable does indeed come in. Here, I'm simply going to go for Heavy Slam. The only thing he can possibly switch in against Heavy Slam that isn't going to take massive damage is going to be Manaphy, and, I mean, I don't care if Manaphy comes in. He goes for a Wish. I go for Heavy Slam, expecting to do around about 60% HP to this thing, but I end up taking almost 85%. So this confirms to me he is not invested in defense at all. So he might be Spadef invested. I'm not entirely sure. He might just be completely offense. So I'm expecting he's going to switch out. Even if he stays in and goes for Protect, that helps me get valuable information. I'm just going to go for Earthquake because, as I said before, Earthquake's going to hit anything. And we are going to catch the Manaphy on the switch in and actually kill it with a crit. That is a little bit unfortunate. I think the crit did matter there. However, even if he had gone for a Surf, Assault Vest Mudsdale would have survived it, and I would have just simply stayed in and clicked Earthquake again anyway. I'm going to go ahead here, switch into Finny, wanting to conserve that Mudsdale against a potential Gracium Z Koko. I don't really have any use for Finny anymore. The Crocodile is super low, the Manaphy is dead, and the Mega Abomasnow has been taken out. So the only thing I really care about using Finny for now is either hitting the Ferrothorn with Hidden Power Fire, or getting rid of Rocks with Defog. And this turn, I probably should have Defogged. If I could change any play in this game, I would probably have Defogged right here on this turn. But Rocks did not bother me too much, and I valued chip damage on the Ferrothorn more than I valued getting rid of Rocks. Here, I'm simply going to go for the Hidden Power Fire. He switches into Tapu Koko. I kind of expected that that might happen. So the Koko is basically going to heal all the way back up. I'm going to switch the Finny out because maybe I want to preserve it again to come in on that Crocodile later on and just go straight on into Zeraora. There's no reason not to, I feel, at this point, especially if he's got Volt Switch. But he does show the U-turn, so at this point Zeraora is kind of low, but I'm not too concerned about that. He brings in the Crocodile. That's fine. I don't want to show him Fire Punch yet, though. I could take out the Crook with Fire Punch. I don't want to. So I'm going to go ahead and just go for Fake Out. This will take him down super, super low. Knock Off will finish him off on the subsequent turn, should he opt to stay in. But he actually switches back into Tapu Koko for some reason, and I'm about to find out why. I go for the Knock Off, and we end up getting a Choice Scarf off of him. That means that I've fulfilled all but one condition in order to be able to win this game. We've gotten rid of the Scarf on the Tapu Koko, and we've gotten rid of Mega Ice Shard. Now all that remains is getting rid of the Ferrothorn, because we've prevented the Hazard stack, and he didn't even bring Darmanitan or Noivern in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead, conserve the Zeraora because I want his Fire Punch for later on, and I'm going to send in the Tapu Fini to eat whatever move this Koko is going to throw at me. I assume Dazzling Gleam, and that's exactly what he ends up going for. Because Kangaskhan is my breaker, and it's something healthy that I don't care if it goes down, that's what I'm going to go into to threaten this Koko out. Earthquake will kill anything on his team besides the Ferrothorn, and it will get the Ferrothorn down to that 75% sweet spot where Fire Fang can easily finish it off. However, he's going to go ahead and sacrifice the Crocodile to this Earthquake, which I think is indeed the correct play. Now, because we lost Finny before we could defog and rocks are up, I do have to amend my plans slightly. If I opt to go for a Dragon Dance against Ferrothorn, which is the only thing I can really Dragon Dance against with Mence, I'm going to probably eat a Gyro Ball. That's going to be a little more than 50% of my HP, at which point I'm not going to be able to finish the Ferrothorn off with Fire Fang without actually sacrificing Mence itself to the Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs damage, which we now learn right here that he is indeed Rocky Helmet, as I suspected at the beginning of the game. But that isn't an issue, not relevant here. If we can get him down to 28%, I can finish him off with Earthquake without taking any recoil damage with the Salamence and end the game that way. Either way, I'm going to leave the Kangaskhan in here and simply click Drain Punch against this Ferrothorn repeatedly until it is at the amount of HP that I want it to be at, or until Mega Kangaskhan is dead. I do not care about Mega Kangaskhan at this point. It has done everything it needed to do. Now he is going to go ahead and switch into the Tapu Koko, easily eat this Drain Punch, get a little bit of HP back, and we are going to lose Mega Kangaskhan. But this is kind of the end game that I wanted to go for. I know he's not staying in against Zeraora with the Tapu Koko. I have shown 3 moves on Zeraora. All of them are physical contact moves. After a U-turn, he will die to coming into contact with Ferrothorn, which is exactly the plan. I have yet to reveal the Fire Punch for this exact purpose. So I'm going to basically switch in the Zeraora, expect him to switch into the Ferrothorn. Even if he stays with the Koko goes down to half, at which point Jirachi can finish him off with Fire Punch himself anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So Zeraora is going to come in, expect the Koko switch out, use Fire Punch, get the Ferrothorn down to that 25% where it can be finished with Earthquake, and then I'm going to go for a Mence Dragon Dance sweep of his last 3 Mons, and there really won't be any way for him to actually stop it. So we do see the Ferrothorn come in as planned. Zeraora is going to get chipped out, go down. I'm going to be easily able to put in the Salamence and go for the Dragon Dance. Now, it doesn't really matter what happens here. Even if he got a crit on Gyro Ball, I can still put in Jirachi. Jirachi hasn't even come in this whole battle. I mean, he's just kind of sat there. I could have just gone for Fire Fang on this turn to guarantee the kill on the Ferrothorn, and then let myself get revenge killed by the Tapu Koko, and then gone into Jirachi to end the game with Iron Head. But the entire point of this battle and the entire point of this build was to get Mence more kills and have it actually do something meaningful in a game, which is exactly what I'm going for. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance. I will kill the Ferrothorn with Earthquake, then I will kill the Koko with Earthquake, and then I'm going to style with Steelium Z on the Clefable for the 3-0 victory against the Flying Bird, which means that we're going to be in playoffs now. I'll talk a little more about that in a minute, but I just want to say that this game went pretty much exactly as planned. We did everything we needed to do. Had he brought Darmanitan or one of the other things, I feel confident I would have been able to handle that pretty well. Maybe the Quillfish might have been the worst thing, but overall he didn't really have any good answers to Zeraora as it was. I actually feel kind of bad about the way that I play Zeraora in a lot of these games where I'm successful, because he's really just there to get specific chip and for knockoff purposes, and that's really it. I mean, he has a lot of offensive potential, but I just don't need to use it, I guess. He's good enough doing utility stuff for me. As I said earlier, the only play I might have changed in this battle is going for Defog on the Tapu Fini when he switched in the Tapu Koko, but even that didn't really matter very much. I didn't care about the rocks, so I'm fine with the play the way it was. Now back onto the topic of playoffs, I'm actually the number 4 seed. Jetman managed to beat the Blazing Squid, which were the other 2 4-4 teams, which means that we're both 5 and 4 right now, but he has a higher differential, so he's going to be 3rd. He's going to be playing against Skyrander in the semifinals, and I'm going to be playing against Vepsis, aka Vepotato. And I'm looking forward to this rematch. I like to think that I improve every single time that I play, and hopefully that's the case. I do feel that within the last 2 weeks, I've finally managed to mentally address the tactical decision-making errors that have kind of been plaguing me on and off for this season. At any rate, if I can keep up my current level of play, I think I have a really good shot of ending Vepsis' perfect season right here and going on to the finals for the UBL D-League. So I will see you guys next week for that semifinals game. Quick shoutouts at the end here. Another thank you to Blazing Squid for this video recording and many other ones throughout the season. And also a shout out to Skyrander for letting me bounce some ideas off of him. Even if he is just trying to position me so that I can beat Pepsis for him, I am fine with that. As for the viewers, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking around and watching my videos for this season. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all next week, and as always, thanks for watching.